Hi, and welcome to Source Seers. I'm Love.
And I'm Tylynn. We're two Los Angeles-based witches who were brought together by fate with one mission.
To translate wisdom from Source and provide spiritual knowledge for the collective.
We're here to explore psychic stories, pop culture predictions, trauma healing, ancient knowledge, astrology, tarot, and so much more.
Source Seers is here to shine the spotlight on how the mystical realms are interwoven into the very fabric of our everyday lives.
Yeah!
All right. Hello, Source
Hello.
Seers. I am very
Too excited for this episode.
My Aries moon is lit for this episode. So we talked about this a couple episodes ago about wanting to do like mystery astrology chart readings, but we have let that idea ferment in the soup and it is now 10 times better.
Swirl in there.
Yes. So what we're going to be doing is I have picked two reality TV celebrities that are currently trending. Jax Taylor and Brittany Cartwright, who were part of Vanderpump Rules and are on the Valley, and they have a lot of tea that is going on. I'm being vague because Tylynn doesn't know who these people are.
No idea. Never
There's
seen
yeah,
that show.
I literally had to show her like photos of what they look like.
Just so we could confirm if the rising signs were accurate.
Yes, because we don't have direct exact birth times, but we are going off of what various sources have said online and cross-referencing. So just like a caveat here that it's not maybe the exact birth time, but it's the ones that made sense to me and made sense to Tylynn, and from what we've heard on the internet. So basically, Tylynn is doing this like blind chart reading. Like it's as if someone has randomly paid her to do an astrology chart. She doesn't know anything about who they are. And the purpose of this is you listening will know who Jax Taylor and Brittany are and what's going on in their life right now and all these things together. Like she knows that they're together, like they were in relationship. So she's going to look at each of their charts individually and then look at their synastry chart. And the reason why I was laughing is she just pulled up their synastry chart right before we started hitting record and she was like, oh my God, these two together are volatile.
Quote. I said that.
That was an exact quote. So I'm very excited. So as we go and Tylynn makes like statements or predictions or reflections, I'll like verify and be like, oh yeah, like he did that or she did that or this is what we know from them on TV, obviously. And then
feel free to throw your insight into your astrological wisdom.
And I'll be sharing mine. And then like as you look at the synastry, like then I'll share
what's the tea between them. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I literally went to see The Valley with my friend. The second season just dropped, and that's where one of the shows where he's from. And he has a bar in Studio City that he hosted like a watch. So he was there. Like I saw him in person. So I'm very excited for this.
Okay, well let's dive into it. We're going to do the first chart, which we pulled, which was the woman, I don't know her name.
Brittany.
Again. Okay. Brittany. So Brittany. Okay, Brittany is a Taurus rising, Virgo moon, and Aquarius sun. So her ascendant point is here at 10 degrees of Taurus, meaning that it is conjunct Mars and Eros. So anytime we have Mars in the first house, Mars is the energy of action, it's motivation, it's our physicality, it's our drive, it's our willpower, it's our strength. It is a warrior energy. And in the sign of Taurus, this is a fixed earth sign that represents the bull. It's grounded, it's secure, it's stable, it cares about beauty and the senses and the material world and values. So this is someone who is very stubborn and driven by their values. And so if something does not align with their value system, they are willing to like push and go forth to something that is in more alignment so that they can feel more grounded. This does indicate someone that is highly motivated, and we see Eros as well here. So Eros is the god of erotic love and vitality. So this also tells me that she is someone who really cares about beauty, who really cares about aesthetics and the way things look and feel. I always imagine Taurus as the side of Venus she is very sensual, and I imagine her on this couch where it's so luxurious and there's a beautiful texture to it, and she's eating her chocolate and she has a feather. She's playing with her senses. But the thing that's interesting is that she pairs that quality of like the love and the senses and the connection to the material world to her work, to her ambition, because she's ruled by Venus and Capricorn. So Venus in Capricorn is the love of ambition. It's the love of motivation. I always imagine Capricorn energy as a cardinal earth sign, as the yin side of Saturn, where she's a wise sage medicine woman, and she's walking up a mountain one step at a time. She knows her goal. And again, this person is motivated. Like, nothing and no one is getting in their way. They've made up their mind. They are going forth, especially with that Aquarius sun up in the 10th house, which to me says that in a way she is a change maker, someone in her sole purpose who cares about the betterment of humanity. Yes, okay. But
she also sees the best in people and like will give them chance after chance because like she wants them to grow. Like she's patient with them. I feel like also the Venus, like Capricorn, like being patient.
That's also Taurus medicine, is because Taurus is the bull. It really does embody that slowness, that groundedness, that patience, but with the Martian energy there, it's willing to do step by step. Again, the Capricorn energy as well, which is what she's ruled by, is that Venus Capricorn. She's willing to take it slow, to go step by step by step. And this also, to me, feels like she's someone that's very productive and efficient. Like if she says she's gonna do something, she will follow through with that thing.
And like people on the show have said like she's always down for like a good time. Like like literally on this new episode, her friend was like, I can be like, do you want to go to Taco Bell? And she will never say no. She'll be like, sure, let's go do it. You know, like.
Yeah. She also has Jupiter and Taurus in her first house, which that does indicate, Jupiterian energy is joyful, it's playful, it's expansive. And especially Jupiter and Taurus, like there's expansion through the earthly experiences here in the earthly realm. So I would say she's also someone who cares about luxury, who cares about like the finer things in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like what I've seen from watching her and what people have said on the show is like she's just like doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's like the nicest, sweetest person. She always comes from like a genuine, good-hearted place.
That's that benevolent energy.
Yeah,
in the first
and
house.
she does care a lot about aesthetics. Like she got her breasts done. She's had work done on her. Like she always, when she's like showing up, she does really well. And there's something that you said about like the Mars piece about the body, and I did feel like when she was having some issues in her life, I'm trying not to reveal it too much because it'll ruin the synastry piece, but when she was having some issues in her life, she got like sick, like her body became like ill, and she couldn't really like deal and move past, and that became like a problem that she got stuck on, and she was a little bit stubborn about like letting go of it, but then also like did take the action, but was still in the energy and like couldn't leave it, so it was like still affecting her physically. But yeah, when we met her, she was like just this, she's from Kentucky, so she was like a southern person. She wasn't on the show in any way, shape, or form, and she met Jax, the other guy that you're gonna look into, and they like early on into their dating, she was like, I'm gonna move out to LA and come live with you. Like that's that, like how you're saying, very motivated, going for what she wants energy. I can definitely see that. And she was like, I really like this man. Like, he's going to be my husband. Like, if I choose you as my husband, you're the one that I'm choosing. And she was like, I will stick by your side. She's very loyal.
Very loyal.
Very
Taurus
loyal.
rising in general is a very loyal frequency, but paired with the Martian energy, that warrior consciousness. Yeah. It's protective as well. Like,
she's
if you're
gone
under
for her friends.
Wings,
gone to bat for them.
Yes.
Like, she has, like, good relationship. Like, she's loyal to her family. And I think, like, when you're talking about what her values are, like, she comes from a traditional Southern family. So she wanted, like, the man to provide for her. And she wanted, like, from their values as well, it aligns, like, the outward appearance of, like, we're not airing our dirty laundry in public. We're making sure that we look good and we're not talking stupid in public and, like, making our family look bad. That was, like, important to her. But she was also, like, forgiving, I feel, to, like, her partner when he didn't or did do things, you know? I think that like, tracks. I think, like, sometimes what we saw on TV was, like, she wanted the motivation, but she put it on, like, her partner. Like, you need to get this stuff going because we want to have this money. Like, you better start putting your money where your mouth is. Like, why are you not putting your money? And then, like, he would be like, oh, what about you? Or you need to help me. And she'd be like, let me know and I'll be there. Like, ask me to do the thing and I'll do the thing.
Yeah. She's a beautiful motivator. Like, that. So I love that you're sharing that she has that capacity to share, like, are you going to do the thing? Yeah. Like, and holding people accountable. Yes. I feel like she has a really beautiful way of holding people accountable, again, to their higher ambition. Yeah. Because that's what she's here to do, being ruled by a planet in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn, is to cultivate her own legacy in this lifetime. Yeah.
And she's, like, very like, I like that she has the Earth trine. So an Earth trine is when you have this, what is the math word for the acute triangle? And in each of the 3 Earth signs. So she has a very grounded energy. Yeah. She doesn't, like, fly off the handle unless she, like, I've seen her yell, but, like, she does it, like, when someone else is already raising their voice to her, you know? Like, she doesn't just, like, at them.
She's very solid.
Yes.
In her
I would say energy. She has a very solid energy. Even her body, like, she looks, like, solid as a woman. Yes. You know? So, yeah.
So it is interesting that you're bringing up this dynamic in a partnership setting, though, because her ascendant card, so her ascendant, again, is at 10 degrees of Taurus, which means that it is in the 2nd decan, which is a decan ruled by the moon. And it relates to the 6 of Pentacles in the tarot. And in that card, we see this interplay of giving and receiving. And I have found for clients who have this as their ascendant point, that is their life's lesson, is to understand the balance of giving and receiving. And we see a few different aspects on that card. So we see the figure who is generous, and she has a lot of generosity. I mean, Jupiter in her 1st house. Yes. She is
more than she should have for people.
But that's the lesson, though, of like learning when she's overgiving.
Yes. Because I think with her partner, she just gave too many chances, gave too many excuses, gave too many kindnesses. She is a very generous person. Like, I think that you hit that nail on the head. Like, learning when she's, like, kind of wasting her time and energy and her gifts on something that isn't going to be productive or good for her.
And learning when is she receiving, right? Because we also see in that card the figure who's opening their palms out and the other figure is gifting them money. And then we see the other figure who is waiting patiently. So that's the other aspect of Taurus, is the patience. It is the dedication and knowing where you are going. Again, the Martian energy here, the strong motivation for whatever her goals and visions are. And that is a part of the balance, right? Of giving and receiving, is also to wait patiently. But it does feel like with the Jupiter piece here that it would lean more towards the lesson is when to receive and not overgive.
Yeah, because she is an overgiver. And I think that the plans of, like, what I've just seen from her relying on the husband or the partner to, like, do the work, I think that's just, like, what the plan was that they made. And she was like, okay, like, I'll be okay with this plan. Like, because her part of the contract was like, I will have the child, you do the working part, you know, type of thing. And so I do see that, but then I see like when that doesn't work, she's like, okay, I'll do it on my own. Like I do see her like having that ability and like being able to move forward, being able to do things on her own, like effortlessly almost, you know, like getting that, like you said, like that Mars energy. But yeah, I do think like in her relationship, there is a lot more giving than receiving. And a lot of people were like, girl, like, why are you giving this person a second chance? Like, why are you going and doing all this stuff for this person when they're not like valuing you? Yeah. And that's sort of like a wound that she has expressed on TV with other cast members about like wanting to feel like loved, wanting to feel important, wanting to feel valued and cherished.
Yeah. Well, that's really the intention of a Taurus rising, is to cultivate deep self-worth and deep self-value, and this in the internal realm, so that like a bull, nothing and no one can shake them. But then they oftentimes Taurus risings, they are learning, who am I loyal to? Like, who am I loyal to that is actually benefiting my soul and the truth of my soul?
Yeah, because I feel like she's had to make sacrifices in terms of loyalty to like her family and their values to make allowances for her partner.
Yeah. And it is interesting with her ascendant point being in the Decan ruled by the moon. This tells me that she's someone who is very intuitive, and her intuition comes through in a way that is very practical, grounded, step by step. Here's the process. Yes. And it's interesting that you mentioned that she had a health thing come up, because she is a Virgo moon.
Yes, and it wasn't her stomach stuff. She was in the bathroom a lot.
Virgo rules over the digestive system, and that happens for Virgo moons when there's something that is not sitting well in their system, because Virgo rules over our digestive system, how we break things down, how we process things. And if there's something that's not sitting well with the Virgo moon, it can cause a lot of inner irritation, hyperfixating.
She had that. She couldn't drink anymore because she would drink and then get sick from drinking. Like just having like one or like having like a little too much, like not like you blacked out, but like too much for her body. Like, maybe that third drink, now I'm sick.
A way to sort of remedy that for her soul is, what are the rituals and the routines that support her highest creativity? Because really that's where her soul is nourished.
Yeah. And I think she gave so much of the spotlight to her partner that she wasn't getting nourished in that. And then her partner wasn't like building, you know, creating space for that. But there was a point in time where she wanted to start this like cheese business. And like she started doing, you know, so like she was like, what are things that I like? Food, eating. Like, I'm going to make this cheese very Taurus.
Rising.
So yeah, she did. She was like, oh, I'm going to like do, and she had like, she made all different, cause like, it was like I think it was like her grandma's recipe for like this like cheese dip or something. And so she was like taking that and like, she made a whole bunch of different ones like to like test them to see like which one is the one that we're going to like bottle up and sell and stuff.
That's interesting because, you know, she does have a 10th house sun and a 10th house Mercury, which to me, this indicates that her soul has had many past lives where she's been in a position of authority, leadership abilities, especially over like-minded groups. And what's interesting about this is that the sun is considered to be in its detriment in the sign of Aquarius, and that's because it's at home in the sign of Leo, which is a fixed fire sign. It's like, look at me, the performer, expression, energy. Whereas in Aquarius, this is a fixed air sign that is all about the group. It's all about humanitarian values, but also your own personal authenticity. That this is where we get that eccentric energy. So the sun, because the identity, it is oriented towards the other. That's why it's considered to be in detriment. So what her soul is here to build as a part of her purpose and her identity and her egoic expression is here to support the collective in some kind of way. And it's also, yes, related to her voice, to her expression with Mercury here as well.
Yeah, I think that was something that she had to develop that we've seen throughout the course of her on reality TV is like she really had to learn how to speak up for herself and not to like just, oh, it'll be fine, I'll take the brunt of it, or like, oh, it's not a big deal, I want everyone to be, you know, happy-go-lucky and feel copacetic, so I'm not gonna rock the boat. And like this relationship with Jax, like she had to really be like, no, like this is not okay, like, you know, like this is where I draw the line. And I also think that every time she definitely doesn't like to be vulnerable on TV, and that could just be like the traditional values of not airing your dirty laundry in public, but like every time she shows up, like people support her. And I feel like there's like something that everyone can learn from that. Like I see her, like everyone, you know, it's like one of those things where like when someone that no one has anything bad to say about this person. Like when they finally are like, oh, I'm struggling, like people are like, oh my God, me too. Like, so I just feel like, at least from my perception of like her becoming a mother and all these things, like when she talks about these issues, I feel like there's so many other mothers that are watching that are like, yes, this is healing for me. Like, oh, okay. You know, like I do feel like she's even talked to some of her, to Jax's like exes and stuff. And like, there's like this, healing energy that happens when these conversations arise, if that makes sense, you know?
It's so important for her to express her truth.
And I think that the struggle with what we're able to see on TV is that Jax has just overpowered and overshadowed her in the spotlight and not given her space to stand up, to take that space, to express, to share. Or he has tried to like control the narrative, so it looks like when she shares that she's delulu or like she's not right. Like he's twisted it, and I feel like she has remained constant. She's been like, no, that's not who I am. Like, nope, that's not what I said. Like, nope, he's tried to get everybody to say this, but this is my truth. So I think that her being like that grounded earth energy has helped throughout this process. But yeah, very interesting.
It is interesting that you're sharing that she's had some difficulties within vulnerability, especially within like a community space, which is, you know, she's sharing her insight in a public platform because her North Node is in Pisces. So right now she's experiencing a nodal return. So this is a really
a big deal,
karmic frequency for her to like step into building her community. And to being vulnerable with her community, because Pisces is a deeply vulnerable sign. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It encompasses the oneness. And so I love what you shared about her speaking to these truths that she experiences as a mother, and also different things that she struggles with, probably like the Virgo moon maybe being her own worst critic, right? Or
she is,
like
she's hard on herself, for sure.
That's a Virgo moon.
Like when her husband makes a mistake, she's hard on herself. Like that's how hard on herself she is.
It's such a Virgo moon energy. And I want to tell all the Virgo moons out there, you are perfect just as you are. It's so true.
Well, I have a Virgo Mars, and like something that has helped me is like, it's going to sound really conceited, but I think other Virgo placements will resonate with this, because Virgo seeks to strive towards perfection, so we can like get really hard on ourselves. So what I have reminded myself is like, as a Virgo Mars, especially in the 10th house, like what I output is already going to be 10 times better than everyone else. Because like, I know, like I said, it's going to sound conceited, but it's like because of the attention to detail, because of the hardness that I place on myself, because of the standard of excellence that I hold myself accountable to. If I'm just putting out this thing that's like feels not ready or feels shitty or feels like I haven't done enough, it's already going to be better than most of the stuff out there, because other people don't hold themselves to that standard, and they just and they get to create it, you know? Whereas the Virgo people are like, oh, I have to stress over this and worry over this and fixate over that thing and this and that and that. So it's like in that process, what you output is already going to have way more thought behind it than what other people might put into that. So I know it like seems conceited. It's like, I'm already better than everyone else, but it gives you permission to make mistakes. That's why I think it's kind of nice to have that kind of mentality of like, oh, if your emotions, if you're getting like too stuck in the things, or if you're holding yourself too much to this standard or shaming yourself or judging yourself, be like, look, it's okay. Like, I've already put enough thought into this. I've already sunk enough energy into this. Like, I've gleaned what I needed to know. Like, it's okay. I can move forward. Like, from the emotional piece, I feel like it's a little harder.
Yeah, well, the higher octave of that is the reason why Virgo craves that perfect energy is because it's really here to cultivate mastery over skill sets.
Yes.
And so that's why what you're saying is accurate, because of that attention to detail. Virgo energy takes the time to refine, to make adjustments, to say like, that's in, that's out.
Yes.
And that's the cultivation of mastery over a skill set. And for her especially, it's so important for her to feel really anchored in her expression and her creativity. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she publishes something out into the world, right? I don't know if she already has.
She has a podcast with Jax.
Okay.
That's pretty successful.
Yeah.
So she does speak on that and talk about issues on that.
So that's great, because that's her utilizing a platform that has artistry, and she's creating a community with it by being vulnerable and sharing, because that's her North Node. That's what she's here to step into.
Yeah. And on this recent episode, like, they've been having issues in their relationship. I'm trying not to reveal like too much, but like, she even said like, even though we're having issues in our relationship, I still wanted to continue to do the podcast because it's doing well and it's something that we've built, you know? Like, she's like, I don't even want to let this go, even if like the hosts are not getting along so well, because I believe in the higher mission of the thing.
I do see that her chart has a couple things with relationships here. I mean, she is ruled by the planet of relationship dynamics, so that is a huge aspect to her life, is looking at things through a relationship-oriented lens. But her South Node is conjunct Hera, Juno, who's the queen of the heavens. She represents relationship dynamics. She represents what is out of balance in relationship dynamics, how to cultivate balance in relationship dynamics. So this actually tells me that her soul is very familiar with relationship energy and with relationship dynamics. And this could also be a comfortable pattern, right? Because the nodal axis, it represents the journey of our soul's evolution. So our South Node is where we're really comfortable in. It's an energy that we've spent many lifetimes cultivating a sense of mastery over. And so it's sort of this like comfy foundational space where it's like, I don't have to try so hard. I've already sort of mastered this energy.
And that makes sense, because before she met Jax, he would not, he struggled to commit. Like, he was in a long-term relationship with someone that he cheated on a bunch of times, and that was tumultuous. And I feel like everyone was like, girl, run. Like, you flew out from Kentucky to LA for this man. He's a man whore. And, like, she was like, no, like, he's committing to me. Like, this is serious. This is legit. Like, our relationship is real. And everyone was like, they thought she would be gone in, like, a week. And then here she is years later, still, you know, like, they have a kid together. So, like, I do see and feel that piece about, like, she felt like when everyone was like, I wouldn't touch that with the 10-foot pole, she was like, oh, why? You know, like, this is something we can work through. I want to give him like a fresh start, you know, fresh pair of eyes. I don't want to hold him to that standard.
Because she knows about relationship dynamics. But the other part of Hera's story, and I think we touched on this with Ryan Reynolds, because there was something about his chart with Hera, where in her story, she essentially stayed devoted and committed to Zeus, despite Zeus being like ding, 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 on a rampage, just acting up.
The like, amount of times they've used that word for Jax on the show.
Really? A rampage? Yeah.
I'm like, by the time you look at his chart, you're going to have a bias, but we should have started with him. Yeah, so that tracks.
But she stayed committed.
Yes, because she's like, devoted. This is the man that I chose. I got to stand by my man.
But in order for her to stay committed in the mythology, Hera would, she'd get her revenge every now and again. But a lot of times she would just spend time in solitude. She would spend time alone to recuperate her energy.
Yes. And I feel like there was multiple times where you see like Jax doing something and she's like, Jax, like she's like you shouldn't say that, like, or like we just talked about this, and then she would be like, I gotta stand by him because he's my man, and I'm not gonna just like flay him alive in front of everyone. But then like, she wouldn't always be there at the things because she was having the issues with her stomach, so I think it was a little hard for her to have that solitude moment. But I also there was a thought that I wanted to talk about that you're talking about with the community and showing up. That was a big deal because when she flew to Kentucky, she left all of her community behind. Right? And she was now going on a TV show with a man who this show was already going on, the original show Vanderpump Rules, where he was from, already happening for a couple of seasons. Like, these people already knew each other for years before the show even started airing. So she was walking into her partner's community and her partner's friends. And then needing to find like her own connection with these people and her own community within either LA or these people, right? And so she was kind of just seen as like I said, they didn't take her seriously. Oh, you're just another bimbo. You'll be gone in like, like literally someone had a fight with her and was like, you're not going to be here in a month. Like, you're just the next flavor of the week. Like, and so like she opening up and finding true connections. And it was really when these people saw who she was, they're like, oh my God, like, I want to be your friend. You're just such a sweet person. Like, you don't have a mean bone in your body. Like, I want to be here for you.
And you're honest and you want to have fun with that Arrows energy on the ascendant.
Yes. And she's always like up for a good time. She's up to support her friends. Her friends need her. She's there for them. Like, and so I do think that was like, I'm trying to remember, like, because it was like years of stuck content that I'm parsing through in my brain. But I do remember when she does open up and she starts crying, like, people were there for her. And she was like, like, it was hard for her. Like, I don't want to be a burden. Like, I don't want to, like, that
Virgo
type of
moon especially.
Yeah, that energy, especially when she's like taking on the stuff from him and then being like, I'm so sorry. Like, she would apologize for him, like things like that. And so once people started to see her, like you're saying, that independence, like taking the time away from the relationship, I feel like she was able to find her, like, people that were like, no, I'm here for you. Like, I'm going to show up for you. I understand you. Like, I get the position that you're in, and like navigating, that is hard. And then once you have a kid, it's like even harder because now you're like, even if our relationship ends, I'm still in relationship with this person in some way, shape, or form. So I definitely see that for her, like, really intensely.
Yeah, like, it's something that is comfortable and familiar for her, but it's not necessarily for her highest growth in this lifetime.
I wish we could tell her that. I think she's moving.
She might hear this.
Yeah, she's shout out, like, we're open. If Brittany or Jax wants to work with either of us to move through their feelings, to understand themselves on a deeper level, hello.
We got you.
We are here for you. But yeah, I think we're going to see, as this new season airs, I'll tell you, like, once we do the synastry piece, but, like, you've probably already figured it out by now, but, like, we're going to see a new leaf to her, a more independent leaf to her that I'm really excited.
She's got Pluto over her Mercury and her Sun right now. Like, she is in a transformative era.
Yes.
Especially for the way other people perceive her energy, her career. She's getting this, like, force of power right now.
Yes.
On her identity. It's, like, transformative.
Yes. And I think that, and I got chills when you said that. Ooh. Like, that is where we're going to see her. And even the other cast members were like, I just want to see Brittany have fun this summer. Like, last summer wasn't fun for her. Like, she didn't get to enjoy, because they usually film over the summer and stuff like that. She didn't get to enjoy all the stuff that we were doing because she was struggling with that health stuff, and she was struggling with, like, her partner and the relationship dynamic and stuff. So I really am excited to see her out from the shadow of him, like, to really see her, like, all this stuff that you're talking about. And I'm excited to see that for her.
Yeah. It, going back to the relationship stuff too, she has Pluto in her 7th house. So this does indicate that relationship dynamics, it is a source of a desire for her in this lifetime, but they can be all over the place, right? Because like Pluto is transformation, it's death, it's rebirth.
Intense.
It's very intense energy. And so
yeah,
that's something that can come up for her in relationship dynamics, is the death and the rebirth and learning how to let people go.
That's what I was going to say, because she's so grounded and loyal, that juxtaposed with like the Pluto that's like transform, let it go, let it die, rebirth, let the new thing come through in this relationship. Like, I feel like that's where she was like, do I let it go? Do I let all that I built and all that I created and that consistency and that vision that I can see the highest potential of that other person? Or like, you know, like that kind of like, do I let it go or do I not let, like, because I feel like for a long time she was like, I'm gonna sit here and stand by my person and like be patient with them, but also continue, like she did consistently push and was like, you need to get on this, you need to do this, you need to get on this, you know, so that Mars energy is still showing. But then knowing, like you're saying, when it's like the transformation needs to happen, like you need to like let the death happen, you need to let it go, you can't keep holding on to this thing that's, and like it's on life support, you know, type of thing. Like you can't live like that. And I think that's also been a challenge for her.
Yeah, because the other part of Pluto is the rebirth. And so experiencing that in relationship dynamics is huge.
And I think that's where, like you're saying, with Pluto in like transiting in the sky right now into her house of her sun and her Mercury and all that, like that's where she's at. She's experiencing the other side, the rebirth piece.
Yes. Eyes are on her. That's with this transit. Does she have spiritual practices? Like, is she someone that's...
She doesn't super talk about it, but I know, like, I think her family's like religious, so I know that they like believe in God and like have God and stuff like that. But I don't know particularly like what all she practices. No.
Yeah, because that's a big part of her North Node in Pisces too, is to have her own connection to spirituality and to share that with her community as well. So I wonder what's going to shift with this nodal return, if she's going to have access to another layer of her connection to spirituality and be more open about sharing that publicly, because that's going to support her soul, her soul's growth. So
yeah, I know, like she carries like the like Christian value, you know, like be kind to people, be nice to people, like that kind of stuff, like not wanting to speak bad or like that kind of things like that. Like even with her partner, like she, you know, like she does, you can see she's trying to be like a Southern belle or like diplomatic about her words and things. Like she's not just like, you're a piece of shit, you know, like type of thing, if she doesn't, you know, unless she's like really, really pushed or something. But yeah, I don't know too much if she has like other spiritual practices, or it might be good for her to find them, you know, like to explore them. Because they have brought on people on the show, but she had left the Vanderpump show by then because they had their kid. And they did like a healing thing with like a healer on like a retreat together. But I don't think she was there for that, so...
Okay, well that's something that potentially will come up during this nodal return. Something else really notable about her chart is that she has no harsh aspects made to her ruling planet, Venus. So I think this is also where some of that kindness, it just exuberates from her fields, because her ruling planet has nothing opposing it or squaring it. So it's like, it really is a focus in this lifetime on what are you building? What's the legacy you're building? What's your ambition? What are you publishing? What are you teaching? Does she teach things? Because I feel like she has an inherent gift of...
So like she really didn't have like a job because the husband was able to make the money, and then she wanted to do like that like cheese dip thing. I'm gonna look up to see. I don't think so.
Well, that's also, I mean, a business too that can create a sense of community.
That's funny. So she hosts the podcast. She helped him. She helped her husband open the sports bar that he has here in Studio City. She did like a lot of like the interior design and things like that.
So Taurus rising.
Yes, she had that beer cheese thing, and they have it available at that bar. But it says she's trying to open her own bar in West Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah. And with being ruled by Venus Capricorn, I wouldn't be surprised if she has more ambitions. Like when she gets that bar opened, then it's like on to the next thing. It's like continuing to climb up the mountain. So
yeah, it says like before she came on the show, she was like a waitress at Hooters. Then she was on the show. Then they had their own little spin-off like show, and then they had their child, and then they have this new show that's only the second season, where she's like a main cast member. And yeah, she helped with the bar for her husband, the beer, cheese, and then yeah, she did the interior design, their podcast.
Another reason I asked about her spirituality is she has Neptune conjunct Saturn in the 9th house, which is the house of higher consciousness. And Saturn is our soul's contract that we all sign before incarnating. It's karmic energy, and Neptune is spirituality. So this to me says that there is a commitment, a devotion, a responsibility to her connection to spirituality and to higher consciousness in this lifetime, and then infusing that into her work, into her business, into her ambitions, into her motivations. So I wonder if she does a lot of like intention setting, and especially if she does have religious values, the connection to God or higher power before she does anything. Like I feel like that's like having her life be a living prayer is a part of her life's work.
I think she, like you said with the Virgo and the Taurus, like she's very practical and grounded, and she's like, if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it. Let's put our whole energy into that. And like it says, like she's just open to different things. Like after she had her baby, it says she was like a brand ambassador for Jenny Craig to like lose weight and stuff like that. So it's like whatever she does it well, and she does it like fully, and so yeah, I think where she's at right now psychically, it's just like her regaining her self-worth and self-confidence because the relationship, but also having children, like there's a lot of shifts and changes that happen with the body, and feeling sexy, because I feel like that has been like a big theme that they bring up on the show a lot, is her getting back into that energy where then she can go and boom, 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 and do all the things and take up the space. Yeah,
that's huge for her with arrows on her ascendant, to feel connected to her sensuality and to her pleasure.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes. So I think like that's been a big obstacle to get into those questions that you're asking now.
Well, now I want to dive into into his chart, because I'm just so curious what is going on here. Okay, so he is a Cancer sun, an Aquarius moon, and a 0-degree Libra rising. So he is also ruled by Venus, and he has Venus also in Cancer in his 10th house, conjunct his MC. Oh, Venus is also in her decan. She rules over the first decan of Cancer. And Persephone is also there as well.
Oh, interesting. So that makes sense. Like his early life, he was a model, like an underwear model and shit. So like
being
Venus.
well known for beauty. Anyone who has a Venus in the 10th house, this is an indication that your soul has had many, many lifetimes being an artist in some capacity and being well known for your art.
Yes. And I think for him, I know he grew up with like traumatic stuff. I know he like, and when he got into modeling, he had like an older mentor person. And I feel like it was like modeling opened up this new world for him of like drinking and partying and feeling like important and feeling loved and like having luxury at your like fingertips and stuff like that. And then I think that was like, I know he's born in Missouri, but I think they from the beginning of the podcast, like him and his best friends that were on Vanderpump Rules for like almost 10 years, he left earlier, but the other people were there the whole time. They were living in Florida, in like Miami, and then they moved out to LA, and they were like, we're gonna make it, like we're gonna be actors. So he would do like modeling, photo shoot stuff, and then like they would try, and they worked at Vanderpump's bar, because a lot of like actor people, if you live in LA, you know, but if you don't live in LA, a lot of actor people end up doing like food service, because you mostly work night times, and so then during the day you can make your auditions and things. So that was kind of like their thing, was like, we're gonna work here so that we can have time to do like our acting careers and stuff. And then they became reality TV stars, so then it was like they were also getting older, which I feel like modeling, you age out at like 29 basically. Sadly. In the industry. And so then they started to get their celebrity status from the show. So that makes sense. And he was a bartender, so like he would be like, you know, look, I'm hot and I'm making your drink. Yeah. And you know, like, and
they both have 10th house suns, which is an indication that they're here to shine their light and be known for their expression and their authenticity, and they both have strong leadership skills. So,
and he has this like detrimental, I'm curious like the rest of his chart, but he has this sort of attitude like, oh well, I'm Jax Taylor, so I can do whatever I want. Like that makes sense for like a 10th house sun. Like, I'm here to just show up and whatever I am, even if it's messy, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, he does have Jupiter and Mercury and Leo in the 11th house, which is giving that.
Yeah. Like, I'm the center of attention. Everyone needs to... He would get upset by things if he was like excluded, or if people were talking shit about him.
Oh, yeah,
or, like,
he needs to be validated. For sure.
Every single thing that he says...
Or cultivate his own internal validation.
I don't think he has that.
Yeah.
Because that has been a major theme that everyone has said to him throughout the course of the years. Even in this episode, I know he's like he's like 45 now or whatever. So like, they're like, dude, you have a child and you're 45, like get it together. But like even two of his friends on the show were saying he needs to learn emotional regulation, because he just like flies off the handle, and he's like, why aren't you understanding me and my side of this? Like he would say like, of course what I did was inappropriate, but wouldn't any other person in my circumstance do this? Like, he wants to still, like, be validated. And, like, when he talks about the things that he's done, even though he, like, knows that it's wrong, he'll be like, but was it the worst? Like, in this most recent episode, he literally was saying, like, oh, they called me, like, the worst man in the world. Like, am I the worst man in the world? Like, he tries, like, in his brain, I feel, he tries to, like, to the ego is like a little like, I feel like those Leo placements, like the ego is like very sensitive, and also it's Cancer, right? Like Cancer signs take things personally. Cancer men, it has been deemed by many astrologers as the worst zodiac sign that there is.
Again, we're both sitting here with Cancer partners.
We have Cancer men partners, but Elon Musk is a Cancer man, so I will rest my case there. If we need some evidence for the court, I will bring it. I'm a Cancer. Like come on. Like literally, I've seen so many posts online where people are like, Cancer women, love you, you're amazing, you're great. Cancer men, eat shit and die. Like literally, I've seen astrologers say that.
I love Cancer
but the main complaint that they say about Cancer men is they have a lot of feelings, but they're unconscious about the feelings that they have. So they make it like everyone's business.
Cancer man is where it's at, especially if you also have Hera in Cancer, because then your soul contract, or what your soul is asking for in a divine union, is Cancerian energy. And I know that's definitely true for me, someone that is emotionally sensitive and emotionally aware and nurturing.
Like
I love all of that.
My partner is like double Cancer, like Cancer stellium. So like I understand. Like I'm not saying like Cancer men are the worst, and like I don't hate my partner. I'm not just like on here being like screw this person.
It can be the crab that comes out, the pinchers that come out.
And that's what I think like happens with him, is like he has all these feelings and he just makes it everyone else's problem instead of taking accountability or like learning how to deal with the feelings. He's like, yeah, I had a lot of heavy feelings, but like they volatilely came out and like it is what it is, you know, like that type of thing where it's like, wouldn't you also react this way? Like he's trying to get validation from others, you know?
Well, I will say he has Pluto in his first house.
That, when I saw that, was like, it made so much sense.
Pluto is a very intense energy.
Yeah. And he's so intense as a person.
You know, and I tell clients that have Pluto in their first house, you literally incarnated to trigger the fuck out of people.
And he does that.
Don't tone it down. Like,
please don't embolden him. Please.
No, I'm serious. Like,
I'm like, Jax, if you're listening, please don't take this so literally. Listen to everything and then walk away, please.
You're here to trigger people. So, you're...
He has consistently triggered, like, legit, like, I want to say, like, everyone in the friend group. Like...
That's literally what he incarnated to do.
Like...
And I think that there is a beauty to that, to embracing, like, okay, yeah, my soul did choose to have Plutonian energy in my first house to be the red light laser beam. That's how I think about with Pluto energy. It's like this red light laser beam that just sees into the depths, that sees the deepest desires, that is willing to share things that are taboo, that no one else wants to say. This person is willing to like pull it out into the light. It's a master detective frequency, but it is a very intense energy. And the other aspect of Pluto is that Hades, the lord of the underworld, also has these qualities of the desire to sulk, to like be in the cave. Like
he does that a lot. Like, cause he'll like do some like offhand fucking volatile shit and then he'll like cry and he'll be like, I have a lot of feelings about this. I'm going through a lot. Like, I can't believe that I did this. I'm such a piece of shit for doing this. Like, he goes through these like weird cycles where he's like, and he's like sulking in it and everyone's like, great. Like, now you're open to like doing the work that needs to happen to not make this mistake. And then I feel like he slips back into whatever that like Leo frequency and then he's like, oh, I'm fine. And like, there's nothing wrong with me. This is just who I am. Deal with it.
Yeah. The thing about that's interesting too is like with a Pluto first house, sometimes this can indicate someone who in a way likes to be behind the scenes or like in the underworld frequency. So I wonder if he's not showing all aspects of himself because of that. So like the lore with that is that Hades, when he would come to the upper world, he would have this helm of invisibility. And so there is that kind of like frequency with Hades, Pluto energy that can be such subtle power, but it kind of it has that level of invisibility because it wants to know everyone around them and their deep desires too. So that's the other part.
And I think early on in the show he wasn't super emotionally expressive, so I do think he did hide a lot of those things. And I will say he, through this drama, this recent situation that I'll tell you once we do the synastry with his wife, he has finally revealed that he has struggled with addiction to substance.
He is, they have opposite nodal axis. So he has the south node in Pisces. So that's where he's comfortable, is in the fantasy. Is in the escapism.
Everything's going to be fine. There's not a big deal. What's your problem?
Yeah, he's a really like talented at like understanding how these different rituals and routines like affect his connection to spirituality. So he's someone that's like really he's able to understand how the things he does on a daily basis affect his connection to spirituality, but it might not be rooted in a way that is healthy because of the Pisces victimhood too is kind of what I'm hearing too.
Victimhood. Pisces can struggle with addiction, like substance. I also have seen like sometimes Pisces placements, like just recently in my life I've seen this. They like emotionally manipulate, but not on purpose. Not like how like maybe he's a Cancer too. So like Cancers are also great with emotional manipulation. But I feel like he's good at like knowing when to harness the emotion that people are feeling for him and pull upon that so that they feel bad for him or they believe him or that they like get on his side about it.
That's definitely Cancerian energy. I always say Cancer is able to emotionally manipulate in the same way that I as a body worker can manipulate muscle tissue.
Yes.
Cancerian placements can do that.
I'm really good at emotionally manipulating other people. It's like I have a Cancer sun, but then I also have a Gemini Mercury, so it's like I can just lie.
I'm a horrible liar.
I'm very good at lying. My dad's also a pathological liar, so I don't lie because I've been consistently lied to, but I when I do lie, I do it like for fun or for like silly stuff or like for good things. But I like there's so many times, even my partner, we've been together for 11 years and I'll be like getting into, I think of it as like acting, like it's like a bit, you know? And he's like, are you serious right now? I'm like, no, I'm joking. Like you don't, like you didn't pick up that I'm joking. He's like, I thought you were being like serious. I'm like, that's how good I am at acting. Like it's like my mom told me when I was young, when I was like 3, I would make myself cry and sit in front of the mirror and watch myself cry. So it's like learning like how people like body language, you know?
It is interesting because he has a Gemini Mars as well, which also kind of plays into that. Like
he would start so much gossip. Like, he just
the desire and the motive to create chaos.
Yes. All the time. Like he would cheat on people to create chaos. He would start shit with other people to create chaos. Like there was like one character that he didn't like. It like he like rubbed him the wrong way and he was like a newer person coming on the show and he just like kept attacking him and every time they were in the room he's like, I'm gonna go for this guy. I'm gonna, you know, like he would just create. And I feel like also he created a lot of chaos as a way to deflect. Like, look at that person, they're worse than me. Look, there's stuff that you need to, you know, do over here about this person. And like then you just like forget like all the shenanigans that like but his best friend, one of his best friends was dating this woman and he like slept with her like to create chaos.
Yeah, Mars and Gemini loves like that's what motivates Mars and Gemini is like chaos and like this restless energy, curiosity, exploration, intellect. Like they love to gather like facts and research. And Josh also has a Mars and Gemini, and he likes to say like he's a jack of all trades. Like that is like a Mars and Gemini frequency.
But I feel like for him, it's like thinking that he's a jack of all trades, but not wanting to put in time and effort to like, because he would get shit on all the time for coming late to work, for like not following protocols, for not taking work seriously, for not doing like a good like cocktail the way that it should be done, because it's like, you know, like it's not a big deal. Like, it'll be fine, you know? Like, I feel like at a certain point, he was, like, you know, in this job, and, like, his boss was giving him feedback, and he was like, well, but I don't give a shit about that. So, like, why would I take that seriously? And I feel like that can be, like, Gemini Mars, where it's like, this isn't interesting me, so, like, why am I going to put my time and energy?
Quick. It's fast. It's mutable air. So it's like this, that, shiny thing, boom,
That's
boom.
the cheating, I think, too. Is like, ooh, an opportunity to have sex with this woman. Ooh, opportunity for this woman. And it's weird because his other relationship that we saw, like, on TV, she was also, her name is Stassi. She was also, like, a very strong and motivated and, like, go-getter woman. And so I find there's, like, something that he likes about, but then with Brittany, he would always complain with Stassi that she was too mean to him, that she would like tear him down because she'd be like, what are you doing? This is stupid. Like, why are you acting like this? This is childish. Like, she would just be like, duh, here's the truth of it. Like, I'm not gonna coddle your feelings. And I feel like Cancer especially Cancer men are like, that's hard to hear for them. Like they need it to be like gentle. They need it to be like compassionate when you share with them.
Yeah.
And so he really liked Brittany because he was like, oh, she's nice and she's sweet and she's like, she is patient with me and like all these pieces, but like she also is still strong, just in like a different way.
Yeah, it is interesting because he does have that those emotional needs, but he also has a grand air trine, actually a kite formation, and so I do feel like, yes, he needs that emotional piece, but it's also about like, can you banter with him? Like I feel like with that 0 degree Libra rising, his essence is to be charming.
Yes.
Flirty.
He is, yes.
Like
that, no, because he would get fired from his job multiple times and he would just come back and sit with the boss, Lisa Vanderpump, and charm his way back in.
Yeah.
Every single time, except for like the last time.
A lot of charm.
Yeah. He's very like, and you could see like in the conversation where she's like, all right, I'll give you another chance, you know? Like she's like, okay, you got me. And everyone was like, why are you having this shitty employee in your employee again? Like, you knew that he was going to be shitty. She's like, well, he's Jax, you know?
He
like,
has a lot of luck as well because that Mercury-Jupiter conjunction, which it is in, Mercury is at 12 degrees. Yep, it's an exact conjunction. Jupiter's also at 12 degrees. This is occurring in the decan ruled by Jupiter, and in the tarot it corresponds to the 6 of Wands, which is a super lucky card all about victory and success, and his frequency to his energy, especially with groups of people, networks of people, like he's here to be expansive in his voice and to, it's sort of like get what I want energy.
Yes, and I feel like that baffled a lot of people. It's like, how can you be like a just like a messy train bursting through and still be successful and still make it out on top in some way, shape, or form. It's the Pluto
energy of like, Pluto is transformation. So this is another thing I see with Pluto first house people is that they go through different segments of their life where like they're this identity and then that part of themselves dies and then they're reborn and they're this identity now.
I definitely see that with like the model and like feeling like he did like some like weird unsavory things for himself because he felt like he needed to get it forward and ahead, and then it's like then being as a bartender and then like being like that isn't something, you know, and then like moving on to the next thing, and then so we did see that, and there was something else, like I don't know, I feel like the air trine is definitely, especially like with the Mars and the moon, it's like chaotic for sure.
Yeah, so he has his moon in the 5th house, like Brittany, right? Yep.
Needing to feel emotionally invested and creative in what he does, which makes sense why now he has like a bar, because he's like, it's a sports bar, it's what he's interested in, it's what he wants to do. But also that's what I wanted to say, where you were talking about like with the community and like having luck in the community, because there's these 2 friends that were main characters in the show. They're both named Tom. And those are the ones that like he met, either one or both of them, in Miami when they were doing modeling. And then they all moved together and they all lived in an apartment when they moved out to LA. And then they got this job at Vanderpump and then they all got on the show. And then like they were getting like success and stuff from like their community, from the friendships, you know, type of thing. And it's like, both Toms, they went into business with Lisa Vanderpump, who's a restaurateur, and they opened their own bars. They had 2 bars, but now 1 because 1 shut down. And so now like he's opening a bar, you know, like it's like we see this kind of like building. And I also feel like he built off of like Brittany and like her abilities, like to build him up, like let it prop him up, you know, type of thing. So I do kind of see that as well with like the community, like he was kind of like there, and then it's like he like, oh, jump in, have my spotlight, jump in, have my spotlight, jump in, have my moment. And because he has like the Libra, it's like magnetic, like I'm hot, like people are interested, you know, like it's like I don't get charming. Yeah, exactly. So it's like all he had to do is like rely on his charm, and then he would get, you know, to where he needed to go, as opposed to like taking accountability, you know, or like shifting the behavior.
That is interesting because he has an asteroid named Nessus on his sun. And Nessus is the asteroid of poison and power. He's the centaur in the old Hercules movie, the cartoon, who abducts Meg.
Yeah.
So he's known to be the frequency of...
That actually is a good archetype of him.
Yeah, it can be abusive.
Yeah.
Or it represents like...
He is, like, the way that he treats Brittany is emotionally abusive. And he, like, in the recent episode, she said, like, she told him something and he, like, flipped the table and it, like, hit her and it gave her a bruise and stuff. Like, he gets very, like, that's the Plutonian, too, I feel. The Nessus and it's, like, explosive. Just flying off the handle.
And they're in a square. So there's inherent pressure there for his identity. In both of those cases of his physicality, his first house, his essence, and then his sun, his solar purpose. Yeah. And it's weird because when he speaks, he's like, I know that what I'm doing, like when he has these like clarity moments, like this is not people, like I shouldn't treat someone like this. Like this is wrong. I'm setting a bad, like he talks a lot now they have his kid. He's like, I'm supposed to be this like example of what a man is for my son. And like then he just keeps, but it's like you have this moment where it's like cool, like you seem like you understand, and then it's like then like more shit just keeps happening that's like, come on dude, like get it together. Because the other way that I've learned how to work with Nessus in a way that's healthy, right? Because essentially astrology is just fragments of energy that we can choose how we want to work with it. And so I've been thinking about Nessus as healthy obsession, and that can indicate what we're obsessed over or obsessed about that can support us in our life, right? In a healthy, productive way. So this would indicate that he is, in a way, obsessed with his career, with his outward appearance, with his...
He's had like 4 nose jobs.
Wow, that's a lot.
Because he was like, it's not right. It's not right. He was like obsessed about the aesthetics of how it looked.
And it's a part of his essence too, with the sun there.
His self.
So self-obsession.
Yeah, he's had like, he is obsessed with himself, I think. And like definitely the aesthetics, especially with the Libra, you know, like Libra rising too. Like,
and Venus is there on his MC. So he really cares about how other people perceive him, especially as an artist and for his beauty and
and then I think that's why a lot of his moments of clarity are in comparison to my son or to the, you know, it's like how are other people outside of myself perceiving me, you know? And so I think it's like interesting because it's like he wants to have his friends be there for him even though he's like ridiculous, and then he's really looking at like the outward appearance of how that looks, but then he also like still, I don't know, it's like he has a lot of, he talks a lot about the being obsessed with the outward appearance that we see like with the nose jobs and like the plastic surgery and stuff like that, but then it's like he's not actually like changing, you know,
he's not utilizing the higher octave of what it could be.
Like he has all the tools, he has all the pieces, but then when he's there with his friends and they're trying to call him in and hold him accountable, he's like, well, wouldn't you feel like how I felt? Like, can you just validate my feelings? Like, what about, like, what I feel like what I did wasn't that bad. And it's like, why is this the block for you that you need to, it's like he needs people to be like, look, Jax, I unconditionally support you through all of your mistakes and I will always be here for you. And then he'll be like, okay, well, now I'll do the work at hand. Hey, howdy, hey, you're here with love. And boy, oh boy, did this episode go on for so long that we decided to split it into 2 parts. So we really hope that you enjoyed part 1 and that you tune in next week for part 2 and you comment and leave your opinions and advice along the way. Again, thank you so much for listening to Source Seers, for choosing to looking into Source to be honest with your truth, to trust your intuition and allow the magical uniqueness of you be shared with the world. We are also so grateful for the people who are sharing us with the world, posting about us, telling their friends about us, sharing, commenting, supporting us. We are so eternally grateful for you for helping us do what we love to do. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye! Thanks for joining us for another episode of Source Seers. We can't wait to hear your take on all the magic we talked about.
Follow Source Seers on IG and all other platforms to let us know your thoughts and get involved in our community.
You can also follow Love at Love Sakratoff on all the platforms.
And Tylynn at Tylynn Mackenzie, or go to my website, templeradiance.com.
We'd love it if you could leave us a review on Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts, and share Source Seers with anyone you feel might benefit from magical community right now. Hail Jupiter!
Thanks for seeing into Source with us.
Bye!